Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Saturday, December 18, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Tennessee Titans vs Houston Texans. Tennessee is coming into this contest having just defeated the Dolphins by a score of 34-3. In the game, the Titans outgained Miami by a margin of 308 to 256 yards. The team managed to have an above-average scoring game, despite only throwing for 110 yards. Instead, they were able to keep the ball on the ground, picking up 198 yards. While the Texans had won 2 straight before falling to the 49ers last week, the fact remains that they are starting a rookie quarterback and have just 4 wins all season. Meanwhile, Tennessee knows what is at stake here. A win gives them home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. While the Titans could mail it in and rest most of their starters, they know how important playing at home, not to mention that first-round bye, which would give more time for Henry and company to rest and get up to full speed. Tennessee won't fall into the trap that sunk them in the first meeting. Our first betting pick is Tennessee Titans -10. On the year, Houston is 30th in passing offense with 188.5 yards per game through the air, while they stand 32nd in rushing offense with 84.9 yards per contest. Houston is 30th in scoring offense with an average of 15.9 points per game, while they are 26th in scoring defense by allowing 26.5 points per contest. Tyrod Taylor is 91 of 150 passing for 966 yards with 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He is 4th on the team in rushing with 151 yards plus 3 scores. Davis Mills is 240 of 361 for 2,363 yards with 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Rex Burkhead leads the team on the ground with 110 carries for 403 yards and 3 scores on the year. David Johnson, 62 carries, 200 yards, is next in line on the ground. In the passing game, Brandon Cooks leads the way with 87 receptions for 1,011 yards and 6 scores. Nico Collins, 30 grabs, 379 yards, TD, and Chris Conley, 22 receptions, 323 yards, 2 TD, are the only other players with at least 300 yards receiving this season. Kami Fairbairn is 11 of 14 on extra point attempts and 14 of 18 on field goals with a long of 61 this season. Joey Sly was 7 of 8 on extra points and 4 of 5 on field goals with a long of 53, while Dominic Eberle hit all 5 extra points and 2 of 3 field goal attempts with a long of 51 this season. Our second betting pick is under 43. Quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Washington has another disappointing season where they did not make the playoffs. They did make the playoffs last year, but they have not won a playoff game since 2005. They came into this season with some excitement after giving the eventual Super Bowl champions a close game in the wild card matchup. Their defense was highly anticipated this season after a phenomenal 2020 year, but never quite lived up to their potential. They are gearing up for next season, and lots of players are still playing for contracts and will come ready to play. They may rest some of their more important players who are already signed for next season, but this game should still be competitive. With Washington on a 4-game losing streak and New York on a 5-game slide, this is a chance for both teams to end the season on a positive, however, also hurt their draft position with a victory. From what we saw last week, I believe the Giants have completely given up. Washington, on the other hand, at least was competitive last week against a playoff team in the loss to Philadelphia. The Giants' passing game has been terrible, and with Jake Fromm starting, they absolutely cannot be trusted. Whereas with Washington, you know what you are getting behind Taylor Heineke, who has led the offense for most of the season. Our first betting pick is Washington football team -7. The team's original starting quarterback Daniel Jones is out of the season, and now so is his replacement, Mike Glennon. Running back Saquon Barkley is questionable, which seems to at least be an every week thing, but he did go for over 100 yards last week. Slated to make the start at QB is a 2025th round draft pick out of Georgia, Jake Fromm. Fromm has appeared in 2 games this season and gone 12 of 29 for 107 yards with an interception and has been sacked 3 times. The football team did lead the Eagles 16-7 at the half, but could not score the rest of the way and had their fate sealed on a Taylor Heineke interception thrown with 30 seconds left to play after Washington had driven 55 yards to get the Eagles' 20-yard line. For the game, Washington was outgained 330 to 312 in total yards, and there was only 1 turnover committed in the entire game. Heineke was 27 of 36 for 247 yards and did not throw a touchdown. The football ran for 94 yards on 22 attempts led by Jarrett Patterson with 57 yards on 12 carries. Our second betting pick is under 37.5. Pittsburgh Steelers vs Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh is 22nd in the NFL in points allowed at 24.1 per game. The Steelers' defense is allowing an average of 139.6 yards rushing, which is 31st in the NFL, and 220.3 yards passing, which is 12th. Overall, the Steelers are 21st in total yards allowed at 359.9 yards per game. The statistical leaders on defense for Pittsburgh are Minkah Fitzpatrick with 118 tackles, TJ Watt with 21.5 quarterback sacks, and Akella Witherspoon with 3 interceptions. Pittsburgh has 18 takeaways, which is 21st in the NFL. I'm not going to count out Ben Roethlisberger in his final NFL game. There's still a path to the playoffs, but the likelihood of it coming to fruition would be the equivalent of Roethlisberger playing another 5 seasons. So this is likely the end of the road for the future Hall of Famer. The Ravens secondary is in shambles right now. They've already lost Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters this season, and now they'll be playing without Anthony Averett as well. The unit hasn't been able to catch a break all season, and Roethlisberger isn't going to offer them one on Sunday. Baltimore's ironclad defensive front will force Roethlisberger to revert back to gunslinger mode. It won't always be pretty, and he might even cough up a takeaway or 2. But it'll only be a matter of time before he starts to pick apart the leftovers of Baltimore's defense. It's a defense that also probably won't have linebacker Odafoa on the field. Our first betting pick is Pittsburgh Steelers +3. The biggest test will be defeating that ferocious Steelers defensive front. It's a good thing he knows how to get the ball out quickly, because that defense will be swarming at his feet in this game. This is one of those games where the Ravens will need to effectively run the ball to keep Pittsburgh's pass rushers from just pinning their ears back and getting after the quarterback. Getting the run game going should be no problem against a Steelers team with a defensive front as leaky as Baltimore's defensive backfield. They haven't been able to stop the run this season, period, and there will be plenty of running holes for Huntley and Baltimore's running backs to gash for big gains. Pittsburgh's inability to run the ball won't matter as much against the Ravens' leaky secondary. That injury-plagued unit is allowing 281.7 passing yards per game on average. Roethlisberger would most likely welcome an opportunity to go out as a gunslinger. Well, it's either that or running into the teeth of the best run defense in football. Option A is definitely the way to go. On the defensive side of the ball, the Steelers will be facing Tyler Huntley at quarterback for the Ravens instead of Lamar Jackson this time around. As much as Huntley seems like Jackson's doppelganger, they are very different players. Huntley gets the ball out quicker for small-sized chomps at the field instead of waiting for things to open up to take the whole bite. Our second betting pick is under 41.5. Disclaimer, no financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information contained in or provided from or through this channel is not intended to be and does not constitute financial advice, investment advice, trading advice, or any other advice. The information on this channel and provided from or through this channel is general in nature and is not specific to you, the user, or anyone else. You should not make any decision, financial, investment, trading, or otherwise, based on any of the information presented on this channel without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or financial advisory.